Staying on politics, who's with us now? Look at this. Former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. All right, Sean, let's get right at it.
Sure.
Call it. Split decision?
I think there's no question that we hold the Senate. I think the House could be decided either very late tonight or potentially in a few weeks. I mean, I think that we're going to know by 7, 8 o'clock where this is going. You look at those early votes, both in Indiana and in Virginia. Northern Virginia, Middle Virginia, Barbara Comstock, Scott Taylor, David Bratt. If those guys go down, it's going to be a big night for the Democrats. They'll actually, take a sizable majority, I think, meaning 10, 15 seats.
But
based
overall,
on what the projections. But I think, look, if I think, right now, I think that the headwinds are that we keep the Senate and that they pick up the House. I do hold out hope that if the get-out-the-vote effort is like it was in 2016, where we were able to really flush those folks at the last minute. And that's the thing, is for everybody who's sitting around talking about this, if you think about what the 2016 election came down to, a number of states, we won Michigan by 0.3%. Right. We won Florida by 60,000 votes. I mean, there is not a lot of margin of error. And what that comes down to is, does the candidate or the local party apparatus get those folks out? So you can, polls tell you everything you want, but at the end of the day, if you're a committed Democratic voter and don't get out to vote, it doesn't count. If you are a lean Republican, but you do go out and vote, again, and that's where we all get lost in just looking at the polls.
But look, there are 36 million people who have done early voting.
Right, and look at that. Almost every one of those battleground states, it actually favors the Republican, which is not normally the case. Look at the delta in a lot of these big states. When you look at the number of Democrats versus Republicans that have voted by party registration, it's favoring the Republicans in almost every one of the states, and where it's not, it's close. Republicans have traditionally been election day voters. So the big thing to figure out as we look at the data is, are we cannibalizing the election day voters and just moving them forward, or are these new voters or low propensity voters that we're actually getting out that wouldn't normally vote in a midterm? And I think that we'll know more as the votes come in, whether or not.
But you're optimistic. I think you've
got. Of course I am. Yeah. Look, and I also think, Stuart, one of the things that has gotten lost in this conversation the last couple of days is setting the expectations game. Since 1982, the president's party has lost 5 seats in the Senate in the president's first midterm.
That's correct.
And 38 seats in the House. We're not talking about that in the Senate. We're talking about potentially picking up seats. So therefore,
no blue wave.
They're not even a blue wave. It's at best, when you talk about a split decision, that defies history. There's the cover of one of the major newspapers today that says Democrats poised to make history. No, actually, they're poised to defy history, because Republicans, by keeping the Senate, not only picking up seats, would actually defy history.
So I see the point. Do you think there's anybody undecided? I asked the question because I want to know if President Trump swayed anybody who is now in the middle. Did he sway them to his side with the 11 rallies in 6 days?
I did. Because it's not that they weren't decided. I think the question is, did he get them to go vote? And did he make that case? If you look at the evidence that we've seen in terms of enthusiasm over the past couple of months, Democrats, as we were coming out of the summer, had about a 12-point enthusiasm gap. That narrowed. It is the president who's been on the trail in city after city, state after state, firing up those people, getting them motivated, getting them to make the phone call, putting up
caravan economy.
All of it.
Turned it.
Correct. And I think that what you want going into the end of the last few days of an election is momentum, intensity, and the president has provided that.
It's exciting.
It is.
I like it, I've got to say.
Look, if you do this is like what you guys get excited about, like, when the market's going nuts. Like, for those of us who are election junkies, like, this is the Super Bowl, right? And
so we're excited about the market and the election. Sean Spicer, you're all right. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.